Warm welcome back, everyone. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 most disturbing things that Chris Chan has ever done. As stated in the disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only and is certainly not for the faint of heart. Kicking off the list, we have cake farts. In the video that Chris took for his fake online girlfriend Jackie's...
Sorry, what? What? What do you mean? Cake farts? Okay.
He takes a $9 chocolate cake and sits on it with his bare ass and talks to her in a flirtatious tone. And if that's not bad enough, the transcripts are even worse. There's even a little piece cut out of the cake implying that either Chris or Barb had some of it before it met with its fate. Next is a series of videos that Chris
I guess that's not
his own
that
mother
bad.
to e-beg for donations and for people to buy his comic books so they could pay their mortgage. It's pretty sick to watch these with now knowing what we know and also knowing the fact that Chris most likely used these donations to pay for toys or online gambling. This is where we start getting gross. Chris is known for
What? Cake farts wasn't gross? Alright.
for his many outrageous takes on science, and one of his takes is his belief that the male body can only produce a limited amount of sperm count and therefore it must be recycled to maintain that supply.
Who told him that? Them, whatever. Like, honestly. You expect me to believe that, like, this person came up with the idea that you should drink your own sperm? I doubt it. I feel like someone trolled him into thinking that. And I feel like someone trolled him into cake farting as well, okay? Because I'm going to be honest with you. If my girlfriend, which, by the way, was probably a troll, was like, I want you to sit on a cake and fart in it, I might do it, because I love her, and I'll do it in private. But then it got leaked. You understand what I'm saying?
He demonstrates this in a video he sent to his fake online girlfriend at the time by placing his load in a cup and mixing it with Fanta and then drinking it.
I guess if you're gonna do it, you might as well put it in a Fanta. I'd probably put it in a root beer, but like a diet root beer, you know, with the dog on the front.
With his online trolls took many interesting turns, and his way of dealing with them were oftentimes questionable and sometimes even disturbing. One example of this was when Chris put his trolls into a scenario in his comic where they were all found guilty in a court of being jerks on the internet and were all sentenced to death in the hands of Chris and his Sonichu pals. He drew these deaths in detail of them being burnt to shit in the electric chair and being torn and twisted limb by limb.
I mean, listen, so far from this video alone, trolls have forced him to fart on a cake and drink his own cum. And you want me to be outraged that he drew, they, whatever, they drew a picture of violently murdering their trolls? You think, I'm so far, like, what do you want me to think?
With telekinetic powers. Chris's ex-friend Megan is one of the most tragic examples of people who fell victim to Chris's way beyond inappropriate behavior. After growing sick of being called a homosexual by the internet trolls, Chris went on to draw a picture of him engaging in explicit hetero activity with another woman.
I think I saw that. He drew him fucking her, like fingering her or something.
He then went on to clarify that the girl in this picture was none other than his best friend Megan. When Megan confronted...
Megan doesn't even look like his best friend in that picture. Megan looks like she's deeply disturbed. And she was like looking for an out, to be honest with you.
This drawing, Chris said that the only reason he drew this picture was to deal with his internal desires and so he wouldn't act upon them in real life and do something much worse.
Wow, did he really say that? What he literally is, my translation of that is like, hey, I drew these pictures to jerk off them so I wouldn't rape you. That's what he's saying, if I'm to believe what he said. That's horrible. I didn't know that. Jesus Christ. That's the worst part about it. The part that he... listen, hot take. An autistic person drawing a weird sexual picture it's not exactly... I mean, it's weird, but I'm not going to go crazy over it. But him fucking saying that he drew it so he wouldn't take out his desires on her... That's insane. That's inexcusable. Like, that's one of those, that's inexcusable. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Real smooth, Chris. That does it for part 1.
Alright, we guess we gotta go to part 2 from Nosebud. I think we saw it before. This is part 2? Yeah?
Warm welcome back, everyone. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 most disturbing
this is
things
part
that
1,
Chris
right?
Chan has ever done. As stated in the disclaimer, this video is...
Yeah.
Welcome to part 2 of the top 10 most
Okay.
disturbing things that Chris Chan has ever done. I have to stress that this video is for educational purposes only, and I'm going to be saying a lot much more worse things than I did in the last video. Continuing this list at number 5, we have the Michael Snyder hit and run.
How does it get worse than, like, the last one was pretty bad, other than the fact that they sexually assaulted their mother, and that's pretty bad.
Run incident. Michael Snyder at once was one of a few acting managers at a hobby shop in Charlottesville, Virginia called The Game Place. Chris would often visit this shop, and after a series of multiple complaints and disruptive behavior and numerous warnings from staff, Michael Snyder eventually banned Chris from the establishment. On the 28th of October in 2011, Chris had heard that the shop was under new management and drove there with his mother after running some errands and hoped that the ban had been lifted. Little did they know that the new head manager was Michael Snyder himself. He was escorted out of the store after taking a picture of the interior of it, and then later took 2 more pictures of Michael Snyder out in the parking lot. Chris then hit Michael with his car and then attempted to drive away. The cops...
What? Dude, what the fuck?
soon showed up and subdued and arrested both Chris and Barb, who later were charged with Class 5 felony charges and additional misdemeanors. This next one is going to be...
Wait, so that's really weird to me. So the mom was in on it? Was the mom okay with it? Was the mom in on it? Also, after that display, why were they able to exist in life without like something? I mean, I feel like this person is very deeply disturbed and needs like a caretaker or something.
Gonna be brief due to the possibility that possibly just talking about it could get me banned. The unclip was a piercing that Chris made on his you-know-what as a substitute for the devil's doorknob, of which he did not have. After
What? The mom maced the store worker? Wait, what is the...
After a few weeks, the piercing tried to push itself out of Chris's body out of a way of rejection. Chris then decided that it'd be a good idea for him to pierce it again with a safety pin before waiting to let it heal and start all over again. After going to a professional for the 3rd time and still having it rejected, he gave it up all entirely. This next entry is one that isn't really spoken about.
Wait, what is an unclit? What does that mean? What does that mean? Somebody explain that to me. What is...
that often, and it's one that personally disturbed me. Chris had made a video in his own backyard where he was dressed in scantily clad clothes and was impersonating the character Buffalo Bill from the movie The Silence of the Lambs. He begins by imitating himself digging up his dead dog Patty while humming the tune to which Buffalo Bill strips to in the movie. He then stops digging and thanks his dog and proclaims that they can now be together forever, and then continues dancing and like teasing until he ends the video. There is no known reason as to why he made this.
Bro, what? Like, listen, I'm sure there are trolls involved of getting them to dig him up, but like he was happily dancing? What is happening? How? How are there so many different parts here? What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck is this? This is insane!
Entry pisses me off. Chris has an abysmal history with cats. He once stole a whole litter of kittens away from their mother, used those kittens to e-bag for money, never took them to the vet when he claimed that they were sick, and most of these kittens ended up dying by quote-unquote unknown illnesses. We all knew this one was coming. The latest news...
Okay, oh yes, that was number 2. That's terrible.
The Chris Chan saga revealed to us that Chris had advanced on his own mother. Due to the fact that Barbara has dementia, thus meaning that she cannot consent, not only is this a case of incest, but this is also a case of rape. As of now, Chris is being held in custody and a court day is to be determined.
So, Jesus Christ, that was so bad. Okay, that was worse than I thought it was going to be. I didn't, I don't know what to expect, but that wasn't it. Okay, I just want to add for context. I find this very important. Excuse me for yawning. I just find this incredibly important for context. Is that like the person that was like interacting with him, the troll or the girl, whatever, Bella, whoever the fuck they was talking to them on the phone call that we have. They were very encouraging And the reason I want to bring it up is because it makes me very uncomfortable that they would use such encouraging language when talking to Chris or Christine. I don't care. Because there's clearly a pattern of it. I doubt that was their first interaction. There's probably interactions like that all the time. And it's unnecessary to not only use affirming language, but to use an affirming cadence in their voice. This is something that we have to understand. I've had a conversation with my girlfriend again. She's a behavioral specialist, and we talked about this. People with autism tend to respond more to like cadences and voices or the way that you say things, right? So like, let's say somebody's like, "Oh, I dropped my bowl of cereal." Like, "Oh, okay. Like you should. Okay, that's okay. Like, don't worry about it." I don't even know if this is a good example. All right, let me just try to express what I'm trying to say. The person could have extracted the information from Christian without being so affirming in their language. Without being like, so you raped your mom? Wow, did you like it? You don't understand what I'm saying? You could say like, so like you did something with your mother. Like, well, how did that feel? There's a difference. You could be like, how did that feel? Versus like, how did that feel? And like, my experience with people, like I've actually, like I went on a date with somebody with autism before. I'm very sarcastic, so they don't understand it because they focus on what they don't understand those types of social cues, and so they take your language very directly. And so when you're using like really happy expressive language, they interpret it as the situation is okay. And if with a history of something like that, to me scares the fuck out of me, because like there's a possibility that this person was encouraged, that Christian was encouraged to exhibit inappropriate behavior by constant affirming language and constant affirming cadences in the voices of people who were effectively trolling this person. And so like there's a lot here. There's a lot here, but like the trolls are very much responsible for this as well, honestly.